Hello! Welcome back. We've got another day of Dota 2 ready for you here. It's the final day, in fact, for the Chinese qualifiers for ESL One Genting. We've got some wonderful teams, some wonderful matches. We've had a couple of interesting days of Dota. Some questionable plays, but some amazing plays as well to go along with them. We'll pop ourselves into the game drag and drop and find out what we're dealing with as IG take on LFY in our first best of three.
If you look at their path here to this day, LFY, of course, both of them were Tier 1 invites, which means they were seeded directly into the round of 8. LFY faced up against Rock Gaming 2-0. No big struggle there. It's a very quick games here from what we can see on Liquipedia, because we of course casted IG versus eHome, which was a bit more interesting. eHome did end up taking one game with a Zoo strat with the Lycan and Broodmother up against IG, but ultimately they've been able to take the series with 2 games that included a Death Prophet and a Chaos Knight, so we'll see whether they go back for these kind of heroes in this game as well.
Well, Tidehunter first pick. Indicative of what IG want to head towards. We've seen a lot of Tide bans in the second phase recently, but you can see Clockwork, Bounty, Tusk all removed, leaving IG to pick up the Earth Spirit for Baboka. LFY, they've got a stand-in, or a replacement, whatever you want to call it. Not too sure what's happening with Arfu. Maybe he's on holiday, maybe he's being replaced. We'll never know until the announcement comes out, but Banana is, yet again, standing in for Arfu. Maybe on the Night Stalker, but we'll see what kind of role attribution we'll have for them. As their second pick will be the Death Prophet. Yet again, this 5-man on 5-man action continues in China. Very focused on objectives, on Roshan, and big head-on-head team fights. I've not really seen too much split pushing or small skirmishes or pickoffs. It really has been heavily 5v5 as Husker banned. Goodbye.
Probably a good idea, LFY. They did that in one game. Husker dazzled Rock Gaming in one of these games, so don't want to be falling victim to that in this qualifying best of 3 series. But yeah, the Death Prophet seems to be very popular in China, not so much anywhere else just yet, but it really fits well into this idea of, alright, we're going to 5-man and we're going to take objectives, whatever those objectives might be it towers, be it Roshan, and the damage output can be absolutely insane if you can keep the Death Prophet alive. That is the big if, of course. The big counter to that is burst it down immediately after she popped the Exorcism, then she doesn't get any mileage out of it, and at the same time it's on a very long cooldown. So it's mostly the plan, or it's going to have to be the plan from Victus Gaming, unless they want to go down towards some sort of split pushing route, but with the Earth Spirit, providing the early aggression, Tidehunter leading into giving you these same kind of advantages with having a very tanky frontliner with a threatening ultimate, and potentially some utility items like a mechanism, or all of these kind of things to help out the entire team 5-manning even more. So
yeah, we've seen it like a little bit from like OG and EG, a couple of European teams, but DP is very often the like a 4th pick. You're like, okay, we'll leave our super hard carry for 5th. We'll pick a DP 4th. We've already got our, our 3-4-5 in the roles, which is super popular in pretty much every other region. You have your 3-4-5 picked up in the first 3 picks, and then you decide on your 2 and then your 1 more often than not. But yeah, DP in China is just like, snap, pick it, we'll take this, see what we can do with it. A lot of emphasis put in that middle lane as well, with the fact that Spirit Siphon plus a roaming hero leads to a kill more often than not. I'm really looking now at IG picking something like a DK with Medusa and PL banned. It does leave that Dragon Knight open for IG, but likely we'll see their hard 5 come out first with Disruptor, Wyvern, Bane all gone. What options do they have? The Witch Doctor, I guess, is still out there, but pretty much all of the common 5s have been picked up.
I guess Shadow Shaman would also be one.
Oh yeah.
5 seconds.
It's super useful these days, especially since they're still lacking this kind of big push. So you either want it out of your support position or obviously your mid.
Or an Ancient Apparition, maybe. Very good against the Death Prophet. All of that lovely burst nuke damage. One hero that's kind of slipped away is the Enchantress. Not seen too much Enchantress outside of bans over the past couple of days, where it's been first banned a lot against a number of teams. But this time around, it will be the AA Earth Spirit combo They've got their 3-4-5 IG following the algorithm. They're going through the motions of their draft, pretty standard, leaving their key heroes until that final stage. Whereas LGD, what's the plan now? Where do you move from here? Night Stalker flexible, can be that roamer, can be the offlaner. I kind of want to say we've seen more offlane Night Stalker from China the past couple of days than we have the 4 role.
Yeah, I do want to agree. I mean, they really value getting these extra levels on the hero going to the first nighttime. The downside is that it's a little bit more obvious if you're suddenly missing out of the lane. So just not playing off map before then kind of takes that element of surprise a little bit away. At the same time, teams do... I mean, at this point you should know how to deal with the Night Stalker and you should know when he wants to rotate on you. Anyway, and well... Go for some synergy plays. You had a Lycan coming through. There's a extra push coming for LFY. And of course, you have that nighttime synergy with the Howl and the Night Stalker. And there's that Chaos Knight. Yeah.
Nice little combo there. When you notice the supports have no real hard lockdown for the Lycan.
Yeah.
So his maneuverability in fights with that shapeshift, not really going to be stopped. The CK will alleviate some of the problems there. You've got the AACK Earth Spirit, really strong trio. Pretty much able to bring down any hero from start to end of the game with a good Cold Feet stun, Ice Blast. LFY, maybe think about a defensive support now. You know, we saw Eon Disc the last couple of days against Chaos Knights on heroes like DP. We saw it on a Sand King as well, which is was a little bit unusual, but maybe a saving hero for their 5 would not go amiss. You know, we don't see Oracle and Dazzle that much. Mainly it's, you know, the Huskar combo, but outside of that, not really popular to pick up. A lot of teams much prefer aggression over defense.
Yeah. Well, they certainly still need at least a 5 position support and perhaps a 4 position, again, depending on where this Night Stalker ends up. For now, it'll actually beat it, Oracle. All right.
Yeah, it felt like they needed it, honestly.
Yeah. Bit of a classic combo, like a bit of an older combo. I don't know how to say it, but the idea is, especially with the Death Prophet, right? You want to make sure that she gets a full mileage out of ultimate, as we were talking about earlier, and Oracle definitely gives you that, just throwing his false promise onto DP in case she's in any sort of trouble, but not just the DP, but anyone really that the Chaos Knight goes on in particular. Just being able to prevent that instant dispatch of that particular hero, the instant delete that the Chaos Knight wants to perform time and time again, can actually turn a team fight more often than not. I still have to deal with the Ancient Apparition, and gotta be a bit more careful with your heals if they don't end up coming through sometimes.
Yeah, it's mainly just a false promise onto that Ice Blast for the DP. Keep her nice and healthy. So, still looking for that final hero to tell us where the Night Stalker's going. Could be the offlaner, which is what IG are maybe expecting. There's the Underlord ban. There's a few options out there, you know, the Bat Rider for the catch. You're definitely looking for a hero that can catch and kill people, because you've got push, you've got a bit of save, you've got a bit of hunting power from the Night Stalker, but just a hero that can start team fights or maybe reset team fights and disrupt people in the middle of battle would not go amiss. And, it will be the Enchantress, actually, that comes all the way through. So instead of going for team fight, they're just going for more push. This is going to be a huge timing hit by LFY.
Oh, yeah.
If they can get this up and running with the Enchantress creeps, the Lycan, the DP pushing into towers, IG have limited wave clear, so destroying these summons and minions and whatever you want to call them running towards your towers is going to be a little difficult if your mid laner here, your final hero, doesn't offer you that D-push that you require.
I think it would have been a decent one probably here, but that's been banned out. We're going to have to find something else, but yeah, it's absolutely hard, especially if Lycan does also go back towards that Helm of Dominator build. With that and the Enchantress, you can get up to like 3 or 4 siege creeps extra, which would be a cute little play. To just basically go for a really low committal push. Right? You just send these forward, they're gonna do damage and they're very hard to bring down. Even with the Dragon Knight now, you have to breathe fire, some AoE from the ultimate, but that's really about it. So Invictus Gaming gonna try to weather the storm early and throw some wrenches in the plans, I guess.
They do have 2 very tanky, or 3 tanky cores though. So damage output from LFY has to be focused onto one target when they are trying to breach tier 3s and look for these team fights. It has to be very, very structured the way they enter battle. They do come out with a DK in the end, does add some push to their lineup. A hero that can maybe match up against DP a little better than most, being so tanky in that 1v1 mid lane. Well, who's playing the Enchantress?
Inflame, I believe.
Offlane Enchantress.
Inflame on the Enchantress, Lycan is Monet. 1/9 is Super. Banana is Bio on the Night Stalker.
Pew pew pew!
Pew pew pew. As well as DDC is the last guy.
On the Oracle.
The Oracle, yeah.
And what about Radiant side? Who do we have
Radiant,
over there?
That's IG. We have Q on the Ancient Apparition. Was it Y? Ah, it was Q, wasn't it? Yeah. Y was somebody else. All these single letter names. But anyway, we've got OP on the Dragon Knight, XXS.
On the Tide?
On the Tide Hunter. Boboka, of course, on the Earth Spirit. And the Gaze of Death in the hands of the Chaos Knight.
Gaze of Death. Oh, he's going to walk into death here, potentially. Oh, LFY back up. Didn't want to get involved. Didn't know who was lurking around the corner. And now, Night Stalker going to get clicked down. Reality Rift not leveled up, but should be soon. There's the jump forward, drag back. Night Stalker going to get caught here by the entirety, almost, of this IG squad. But the rolling boulder missing means that with these boots, Night Stalker will just walk away.
Yeah. Very quick here with this early movement speed. Even though it's only 335 with the absence of boots and any other hero here on the Radiant side, that is still enough to run away. Enchantress though, 340 movement speed without boots at all. Thanks, Ice Rock. It's gonna be throwing in some extra arrows or spears or whatever that is.
Why do I get the lag?
Doing it again?
Like, drag and drops is fine. Like, I look over to his screen, I'm seeing everything's perfectly fine, and mine is the one to lag. I will never, ever understand what is happening here. Finishing loading. Thank you, Dota 2. Get me into the game. Thank you very much. Away we go. Back into the match. Nothing bad has happened. No kills missed as we'll watch the AA get chased down by Night Stalker and Enchantress. But the chilling touch with the rolling boulder is a lot of damage into Inflame. They try and turn it back around, but it looks like it's not just me that's having the Kala. It is the Dokala. Diaola.
It's even worse, isn't it?
Ni hao ma. Wo bushi dao.
I know what you're saying.
Ciao ni ma.
Well, Enchantress still in trouble. One more right click would have done the trick, but the Stealth comes through and again, super fast. Stealth will be cancelled.
He's toying with them. The last chilling touch it does come out. A nice chunk of damage, that rolling boulder in though. This should secure the kill. No, not quite. The Tango regen, keeping Inflame alive. Just hopping and skipping and jumping away. The Night Stalker going to try and cancel the animation. No, doesn't have the mana for it, unfortunately. Maybe could have tried to save the Enchantress, but now he's put himself in trouble with the rolling boulder forward. Night Stalker's going to get caught. And pew, pew, pew! Going to die. One more hit from the Enchantress. Misses uphill. He's going to survive a little bit longer, but this Orb of Venom slowing him down. Can this rolling boulder come off cooldown faster for Boboka, or will Banana die to the neutrals into the Whirlwind Cap? And away he goes.
That was the longest first blood into the longest chase I've seen in a while. Then into the neutral creep denies, so at the very least mitigating the losses here.
A bizarre start to this game. So lanes, what have we got? Tide up against Lycan Oracle. Should be okay for the Tide just to sit, trade farm, pressure the Lycan a little bit. Oracle can harass back, but this is a hard 5 Oracle. Doesn't have the null, doesn't have the fairy fires that we know and love from that kind of laning support Oracle to put the harassment in as they find the Enchantress again. That's my bad, actually.
It's caught the very tail end of it, but
they kill the creep as well. Dark Troll. We catch that kill, the important one. Dark Troll dies. But this defensive tri-lane from IG, very potent so far up against the Enchantress.
Yeah, I mean, making good usage out of that early extra damage. Reality Rift also invaluable, just to make sure that you have some sort of catch, some ability to actually get close to the hero in the first place. And of course, CK already being level 3, you have that extra stun to work with. A little bit of extra control, and if you do get on top of the Enchantress, you'll find out very fast that she doesn't actually have a lot of health points. The survivability does come from the Untouchable and eventually also Nature's Attendance. Of course, it's not quite ready to go just yet.
Oh, she's level 3 now, though. Getting these creeps going to help out tremendously. And she's also forcing Baboka to be down here. That's the key thing, right? Is this is a 1v3 lane while the Night Stalker is roaming around trying to pressure Tide. Tide, I guess, is doing a very similar job. Quelling Blade, Magic Wand, forcing Night Stalker and Oracle to both sit top. So we've got 1v3s on both of the side lanes as, yet again, they'll kill off the Satyr. Rolling Boulder won't land. Baboka maybe in a little bit of trouble here. Has the AA to help, but being forced back. Ancient Apparition chased by the Enchantress. This is an interesting battle between the two supports and the offlaner. Then, of course, we have the mid lane. Should be a farm trade, but in fact, it's DK coming out on top. A good 2 waves ahead of the Death Prophet in last hits, which is pretty significant out-laning by this Dragon Knight up against the Death Prophet.
It's always fascinating to see a melee hero just beating a ranged hero, because conventional wisdom would hold, yeah, that ranged heroes do have the advantage because you can harass more and whatnot. But DK, a bit of a different sort, because you're tanky enough to be able to withstand that kind of harassment, and you also have the Breathe Fire with the damage reduction, making it so hard for Death Prophet to even contest these last hits effectively here.
Baboka stealing out bounty runes. Nice little boulder smash to enable that. Arcane Rune for the DK, though, might have put him in a spot of bother. There is a rotation from Night Stalker, but again, 2 points of Dragon Blood with 4 1 charges. Unlikely to be falling here, even with these additional Spirit Siphons coming out. A good Boulder Smash across the 2 will definitely secure his safety.
Same time, Ancient Apparition found a ward down in the bottom here. Just de-warded that, because Enchantress actually telegraphed that was there with a click up the high ground earlier when she was chasing. So this offlane not going particularly well. Enchantress, of course, one of these heroes that can still technically fall back into the jungle or try and make something else happen with these kind of creep rotations here. He's contesting the pull, doing all of these sorts of things to try and keep up. But Tidehunter on the other side of the map, kind of winning that XP battle right now, especially if Lycan is left alone.
The thing is, though, Enchantress just isn't pressuring CK's farm. 31-10. Tidehunter is getting up in the face of the Lycan. At this point now, the 2 supports have left the lane, so Tide can get up in the creep wave and put a little bit of damage back into the Wolfman. Look at this aggro try now from LFY. 3 heroes setting up down at the bottom lane. Don't know if they can catch, though. Chaos Knight's playing so very passively. Tread's wand already up. Tanky man. As the 2 heroes, Baboka included, roll in onto the DP. 1 raindrop pops. The cold feet are here, though, with a stun chaining through. The Death Prophet is about to fall, but the save, the heal, coming in, not enough. Oracle with the Night Stalker cannot turn the tides. And IG get another one, adding it to the tally.
Pretty good read there, seeing, alright, supports are missing, probably. Either they're in mid, so we have our heroes there to react on the side of IG, or they're going for a CK who's playing very defensively. Then DP just a little bit too far forward, does get hit by the roll. And almost survived, actually. 3 points on the Spirit Siphon is a lot of heals, but ultimately not quite enough here to be able to turn things around. Not this time, anyway. Yeah, so far, I mean, this Earthspirit certainly has been the more effective roamer. 3 assists already on the belt was Banana on Night Stalker. Still only level 2.5. Nighttime, or the first nighttime, more than halfway through already, so it's gonna feel a bit of pressure here, and they keep going back towards this middle lane, trying to bring down the Dragon Knight. TP coming through. Now Lycan also coming in with his ultimate as well as a bunch of creeps. The Exorcism committed from the Death Prophet, stunned from Chaos Knight, but they need some other support. Earthspirit unable to really interrupt it, though.
Just a swarm of heroes appear, and Death Prophet pops the ulti, look for the tier 1. Shapeshift from Lycan used. He's got his Helm of the Dominator like we were expecting. Wild Wing is up. Not the best of creeps, but the additional armor will help a little bit in this aggressive maneuver forward in the mid lane. In the meantime, Enchantress, bottom lane, tier 1's fallen with the help of the catapult stolen, and it looks like IG, they want to try and swing this back, get a kill or something, and they will find the Oracle. That's a simple takedown as the DK even commits his ulti, likely looking to go and push tier 1 over on the opponent's side of the river. This back and forth swing. We've seen it time and time again. One team pushes, the other team responds into a push of their own, then come back again with another little battle here around towers. LFY will look to reset, recuperate their loss, and think about their next step.
Kind of even trade here, if you don't consider that the DK was actually one dying, and on the other side was just a support Oracle. But in terms of tower damage, it's very similar right now, unless IG can continue to push in with the Titans also making an appearance, threatening that Ravage. It should make it very easy for them to whittle it down. But at the same time, Death Prophet and Enchantress also rotating in. They are going very aggressive, stun coming through, and number can take a lot of damage, but not enough. Still though, with the Fate's Edict, Death Prophet feeling very confident walking forward.
Enchantress doing so much damage as well, in flame with phase boots, and of course level 6, those impetus hits, chonking down on the Ancient Apparition, the Tide, who was fortunate to have that Kraken Shell pop when the Fortune's End landed, so he wasn't held in place and potentially finished off. We're definitely looking at LFY start to get into the swing of things. You know, this timing is coming. Necrobook is on its way for Lycan. He's already got the Helm of the Dominator, the boots are here. He's not going to go for the no boots build we saw from the Brood Lycan combo yesterday. But it wasn't LFY, it was some other team. Was it E-Home? Feels like it was E-Home.
Must have been, yeah, well, that was E-Home. That was the one game that they won against IG. Big old Zeus, right?
TPing away. So, in flame, should have drums very shortly. And this 5-man will begin. Probably around the next night time to give this Night Stalker a better opportunity to start the fights off for them, because yet again, they don't have that initiator hero. They really are just a heavy push. 5-man protect. It's DP and the Lycan while they charge forward, whereas over on the Radiant, they have the tools to respond. Smoke from CK with the Dragonite and Earth Spirit behind this Ancient Apparition mid. It looks like the AA is just leeching experience. It is a bit of a bait though, because in comes the Radiant team, the smoke pops, and the Dire know the 2-man silence into Boulder Smash onto the Night Stalker. Will try and slow them down, but here's the Oracle to save him up. Not enough against the physical damage though, with the Ravage landing. Missing! Missing in fact! Lycan sprints away.
Speedy Gonzalez here on Death of Wolf. 650 movement speed. More than max, really. And apparently you can outrun the Ravage Tendrils for that, so it's useful to know. Bit of a waste, unfortunately. At the very least, they still get that one kill. They also keep the tower safe. And with the Dragon Form committed, they can also think about finishing off the tier 1 mid. Death Prophet, Exorcism has expired. They can still try and go for the deny here. They're bringing in more forces. Glyph committed as well. But still, very tanky Dragonite in front line with plenty of help here. The stun coming through. Still, the Enchantress, a lot of threat potential just from these impetuses. And now, base damage, another stun. The Ice Ball still now connected on DP. And the support's taken over with the tower shots also hitting in. They're gonna get that mid hero. Night Stalker trying to turn this around together with the Enchantress continuing to blink away. But it's gonna be another trade here as Night Stalker not long for the world. Despite the Oracle trying to help out, but only level 5 on him too. No false promise against any of that. So the level advantage coming into play here for IG.
Yeah, a deep dive there. AA, perfect timing with the Ice Blast. Unfortunate the DP was under tower with the aggro there, so just a little bit too far forward, but not having that false promise, like you're saying, a huge problem for this LFY side as they are now trying to give DDC some experience top. He'll reach level 6 at long last. And a bit of pressure coming in onto Tidehunter. He doesn't have really much to throw into the mix, and they'll send the Centaur forward looking for a potential stomp. With that one TP, Boboka comes in, sends them all packing back into their jungle.
I can't help but feel like the longer IG can delay this game and the more farm they can pump into the Chaos Knight, the easier they'll have it. Because Lycan is eventually going to fall off, especially in terms of damage output. The DP, well, again, they're going to continue to rely heavily on this Oracle to actually now start to throw out these false promises at the right time. But if he gets initiated on somehow by a potential Blink Dagger or Shadow Blade coming out from Dragonite, there are ways to play around that, right?
Yeah, the Dire side basically just has to survive through Ravage. That is really the only thing they're too scared or paranoid about, is that Ravage hitting multiple people But as long as LFY are the ones putting that foot forward, playing aggressively into objectives, they can do significant damage early on and get that gold lead through towers as they find the AA deep in behind enemy lines. Ice Blast will land, but with the stomp there, they'll secure a kill very simply. CK has TP'd in, looking for a go onto the DP. They've got the save. False Promise back in onto Super as they turn back. The Ravage will land, but it's a defensive one. It's a really, really big Ravage to hold them back, but I don't know if they can turn back and kill anyone. The Tide is sprinting away. The DP is sprinting forward as they find yet another kill. The Dragon Knight has popped his ulti, but for nothing at all. Trades not available as IG get run at and run over.
That is, when the combo works, it works perfectly well here. Oracle with the False Promise, just the right time here when they're pumping in some burst damage towards that Death Prophet. Then yeah, the Ravage hit everybody, but at that point, they were already having to run away from that Exorcism. So a pretty good exchange there for LFY.
They don't get the tower though.
Not quite.
Which is a pretty big deal here for the Dire. They need that money going into the pockets of the supports, but more importantly, Lycan needs these towers to keep building up these Necro books. Enchantress should have something on the courier, right? Phase drums, no? Okay. I thought she was richer than this, but I guess with the full wand, the full drums, and raindrops, she's been building these kind of incremental build-up items. IG heading into the Dire jungle. They don't have Ravage, but they're playing aggressively. The Wolves, oh, if they scout this out, they ping inside the Mud Golem camp, but the Lycan knows it's all coming. He doesn't scout the smoke, but he's backed himself all the way to the tier 2.
Question is, can they make the full wraparound here before the rest of LFY? Actually, Night Stalker looking to run into them, relying on this nighttime vision, but again, the smoke still not popped until just now. The burst initiation, there it is. Stun coming through on the Enchantress. Meanwhile, they're also finding the Night Stalker at the same time. TP out though from Enchantress, no further interrupt available there. So it's only that one support hero.
Trading your Night Stalker out for a big smoke like that seems fine. Banana was, you know, very purposefully planted in that position to try and scout out with a Satyr there on top of it all. Into mid they go, finally bringing down a tier 1 mid. As they shift towards this Earth Spirit, DDC spots out Baboka, throws a few hits his way. It should just be a continuation of this push in towards the mid lane. Key thing here though for LFY is keeping DDC safe. He has to hide in the trees, stay fogged. If he's found and silenced or killed, it is very easy for IG to bring down the DP or the Lycan with the damage they've got.
They have the Ravage back now. They have a CK who does have the armlet going straight for the Echo Saber build up. BKB and Orcs to Dragon Knights, so these timings are starting to come up to give that extra edge towards IG. Now they're looking for... Oh, okay, looking for the Lycan, but...
I'm an Oracle! Haha! Like, what are you meant to do about this?
Strong Dispel.
Like, seriously, you have to hunt the Oracle. That's the only way that IG can start these fights, is if they roll in onto the Oracle, find him with the CK or the Earth Spirit, but it comes down yet again, drag and drop to Vision. Vision has been so important, you know, throughout the past couple of years in Dota. We talk more and more about Vision, about initiators and all of this, but the Chinese meta right now, with it being so heavily 5-man focused, having that vision for the jump, for the catch onto that one key target, or just knowing where people are so you can go and pressure into a Roshan, into a tower, any objective. This vision from the LFY side, you can see they know exactly what's coming their way, whereas IG don't really have any wards out on the map. They've got some sentries, they've been trying to de-ward, but they're the ones that are really sitting back and waiting for the push to come in, right? The trouble is they need some wards in their own jungle. It often feels bad, you know, placing a ward in spots which, you know, like, so think about it this way, right? If you place a ward as the Radiant here, as an aggressive ward, right? You can see in the enemy jungle, and you place it here, and you feel like it's a bit of a waste because you're watching your own farming spots.
Yeah.
But if you place it there, you potentially find the Oracle. Or if you place a ward here, you know, you find the Oracle somewhere lurking around in the shadows behind this push that's coming in. You need observer wards to be able to scout people out, and Q sure is going around sentrying and trying to hunt for observers, but he's missed every single one. Look at how close this is. He misses this one with the sentry, misses the same one there. He misses this one. It's just So close yet so far.
Same time, DEC was doing the opposite here around that rune spot. This dewarding one here on the high ground. So, bit unfortunate there. So far, the Vision game firmly in the hands of LFY, and well, maintaining this vision around this area where you want to play around is generally the way to go, right? I mean, they're setting up this vision around these tier 2 towers. Even though they're still tier 1 top, but might as well be an afterthought. Not the most important tower compared to the others. No? Okay.
Alright, Baboka. Alright.
Information gained, I guess. That's one way to do it as well. Just roll right into 4 heroes, but that's an opening there for LFY to quickly go into the Roche pit, dispatch of that immediately, even without committing the exorcism. And
she doesn't want to. With the Arcane Rune, she wants that level 2 ulti.
It does graze the DP, needs a little bit of help, but Oracle still sitting inside, unattended here. The Ravage coming through, or False Prompt's already out on the Enchantress this time, but no hero has fallen just yet until maybe just now. A couple of extra right clicks, Death Prophet has fallen. DK still in the middle, same for the Necrobox and Lycan troops, but he has no ultimate to work with here, so no easy chase potential. Now Magnetize starting to stack out the damage. Nightstalker does finish off the CK in the back. Another nice little stone though from the Earth Spirit, continuing the chase, and the DK, everyone else still extremely scary in this situation. Oracle, they keep ignoring him though. They're still finding a few kills here and there, but now Lycan coming back to life, stunned up again, still no ultimate to run away even, and he will fall in one more time. Double kill for OP here on this Dragon Knight.
A mistake there, or a series of mistakes there by LFY. Inflame going in and playing aggressively to try and zone them out, but an Enchantress zoning people away from Roshan, not really the ideal situation. So that meant that the False Promise was forced on an Enchantress, which you don't want to be doing. You want that False Promise on your Lycan, on your DP, these heroes that get up in the opponent's faces, whereas the Enchantress very easily could have died and brought back, come into the fight, and look for something bigger. And it was the DP ulti expended in the end as well, which was not really the best time or position for LFY to be battling. So they get the Roshan, but immediately losing the Aegis, losing out on that team fight, giving Dragon Knight a ton of money to finish his BKB now, as he's picked that one up for himself. LFY, they've just got to pick themselves back up, think about their next objective. Tier 2 mid or bot are good, but you look at the Tier 1 top lane, 250 HP, just a little gust of wind will push that one over. A couple of Lycan books, a couple of little Helmer Dominator creeps, send them forward. But they're aiming towards these BKBs now on the Lycan, likely next for the DP after this Solar Crest is done as well, to keep her alive through all of this magic damage.
At the same time, there's a few extra bigger items also coming out on the side of IG. Mechanism just completed on the Tidehunter. Echo Saber, of course, done on the CK and the BKB that you were talking about. So once these ultimates come back off cooldown, they will be ready to fight again. This time is not just yet though. Smoke will still be broken. Good positioning there from Baboka with the immediate roll TP out as soon as he sees that something's amiss here in this lane. And as a result, this Merc rotation should not really lead into anything apart from this T1 tower push on top, already taken care of. Now with the extra catapults, with another exorcism and all the other ultimates available, they're looking to continue their push strat here, bringing down this tier 2 as well. Perhaps backstabbing a little bit. There it is, going straight onto the Chaos Knight, silenced up, down, brought down to half health. The Ravage coming through now, Phantasm, not a whole lot of health points, but plenty of damage still to throw out to at least make the 1-for-1 trade there. BKB and the DK means that he can continue to stay in the front lines. Magnetize continue to tick away too. And Enchantress still being kept alive somehow here. Death Prophet with the Exorcism starting to do the counter damage. Triple kill for Super here. Another couple of right clicks now as Enchantress returns into the fight. DK has to be on the run.
That was so sick. Two-man silence, catching the CK, making sure there's no early Ravage, no Phantasm. Then the continuation of the chain stun just coming through. Chaos Knight didn't stand a freaking chance. Blown up by LFY. And there we have the False Promise on the DP. You try and focus her. Ulti comes out, Yules to follow, and she becomes invulnerable as she heals up through every tick of damage. But Inflame's Enchantress. Level 4 Nature's Attendance, healing her up. On the brink of death, so close to falling. The Magnetizer's like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you, and then she's like,
not so much.
Not happening today. Very fortunate to survive, very tight window to get through all of that damage. Now has the Hurricane Pike pretty much done. Death Prophet thinking about a Rod of Atos actually, not going to go for the BKB. Still very heavily reliant on this Oracle to save her.
I mean, it's been working out so far, like even with the Enchantress barely being able to get away. I mean, it does make a difference because then all of a sudden there's two heroes that you pumped a lot of damage into that still survive and can still turn around and fight you. And that's the crux of that fight. Again, like that Ravage, yeah, it looked really good. Magnetize was on everybody. DK fighting to his last, but if you can't finish off these heroes, then ultimately that doesn't really count for anything.
Does IG have any wards yet? Oh, they've got one ward, okay. One observe ward watching mid, but still DDC out on these warding missions. Has a ton available. Just feels like IG are permanently on this D-ward mission, trying to remove the eyes of LFY, but the 5-man will kick off once more. Lycan sends his creeps to split push mid a little bit while he groups up with the rest of his team down at bottom. Easy tier 2, potentially, for them.
With all of that happening here, they still got the tier 2 top here, just with the siege creeps and whatnot attacking. So the push component of this particular strategy working out extremely well. Grabbing that tower advantage. Only one outer tier tower remaining here for the Radiant side, whereas the only tier 2 that's even taking a bit of damage now is the top lane. No significant damage either way. Oracle responding, so LFY is certainly with momentum here in this game going forward, despite that bit of a tumble around the Roche pit. They've recovered quite nicely. And it's coming down to what it has come down in these past couple of games that we've seen throughout the entire qualifier. Just being able to initiate properly and getting your spells off in the right order during these team fights, rather than just out-farming the opponent in and of itself. Like, there's no hero that just gets super huge and is not accounted for 30 minutes and all of a sudden he shows up into team fights and kills everybody.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I don't know if they can stop this though.
Dire's structures are fortified.
It's a big bad dragon though. 8-second BKB, Sanjin Yasha, tier 1.
I don't know if they want to.
Likely just to fall. They're TPing the Death Prophet. Oh, this is very, very aggressive from LFY. I mean, Lycan is still mid with the Enchantress. They bring down the tier 2 there. The chase in onto the Ancient Apparition. The Pebble from the little Golem. Oh, tossed into the back of his head. And Enchantress with the damage allows Night Stalker to pick up the kill.
Meanwhile, Lycan with his army took down the tier 2, so they don't lose even the tier 1. It's in a nigh range, so they might decide to get rid of it sooner rather than later. For now, it still remains as the TP location. But, I mean, gotta feel the pressure now if you're IG, right? I mean, your item question's maybe not where you want it to be. You keep losing objectives. You can't really gain a foothold on the other side of the map.
And the early BKB on Dragon Knight is starting to wear down. Once they get BKB on Chaos Knight, things maybe look to swing for the better. Can get out of these silences from Night Stalker and DP. Get away from these initiations that he's being jumped on and shredded by the Enchantress damage. Could just BKB, pop his Phantasm, and then he will become the big damage source in team fights. Something that maybe Lycan has to be a little wary of, especially once he gets level 20 with that Reality Rift piercing spell immunity.
Yep.
But for now, looks like Lycan's the king of this game. Top of the net worth. Necro 3 with the BKB.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Looking for an AC next. But the group up. Tide has Ravage, has Mech. They've got all of their ultis now, and I think CK, before this BKB, probably has to start thinking about using Phantasm preemptively. You know, if they're going to go and take an objective, just pop it, or if they think they're going to fight soon, just get your ulti out of the way and run towards your enemy. Even if it does signal that you're making a move.
So also very tricky. I mean, the duration is quite nice. 42 seconds on Phantasms, apparently. So you have a lot of leeway with that. It certainly beats being boosted down to like half health even, and then popping the Phantasm. Because then these illusions are very easy to clear through with all of this AoE damage flying out, especially
just a weird duration. 42 seconds.
It's not weird at all.
I guess not. If Chaos Knight is on the hunt for the meaning of the life, universe, and everything, then 42 makes perfect sense.
I mean, if Puck can get a plus 420 GBM talent, he can have a 42-second Phantasm duration.
Sure.
It's all about the mean numbers.
LFY, when's next night time? Oh look, 15 seconds. How perfect. CK does have a BKB now though. Both teams are just going to start running at each other in the next minute and a half, it feels like. Roshan will also be a big point of contest. 1 minute until he returns to his cave. As the Enchantress moving swiftly towards an MKB, interestingly enough. Are we looking at any evasion here?
The evasion talents?
I don't believe so.
Huh. No.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it's nice damage, but...
Yeah, I mean, the attack speed is nice, right? 4 impetus too, so...
Well, we'll see what she does with it. Death Prophet baiting up the front lines. The Oracle needs to pop the ult and gets it off. In comes the Phantasm Ravage, though. They're focusing so hard on the Death Prophet, but I don't even know if she's going to die. Yule's up into the air. This could be her death. She pops immediately, and now LFY have to turn and tail and run. Back to their base they go. They get the damage in onto the Death Prophet, and now into Roshan. False Promise not enough to save her.
This Boboka also giving his life for the cause, like, while they were focusing and just getting everything on top of that Death Prophet. And what?
Tide waited. He went in and he waited, and as soon as he steps outside of the fog, the bloody Roshan respawns.
Of course. He doesn't respawn when you're not looking, you know. It's an unwritten rule. But yeah, I mean, Boboka just getting like 3 or 4 men stunned in silence and magnetized and everything just to keep the rest of the team away from re-engaging during that false promise duration. So IG had plenty of time to pump every bit of damage that they had on top of that false promise to make sure that DP ends up popping.
This means LFY have a chance for Roshan. Oh, Tide, yeah, there you go. Look, he's up. Yeah, well done. So unfortunate when that happens.
Yeah. Can't fight for another like 70 seconds, 70, 80 seconds, because that's when Ravage and Phantasm are back.
Yeah.
It's still very crucial skills to throw out.
DP has Exorcism. That's the good thing, right? You lost your DP, killing spree gone, but you've got all of your ultimates ready to fight immediately.
There's no way they can contest with Roche as a result, so was it really a victory? They can throw in the Ice Blast. Tide Hunter comes in and says, hey, hello, kill me please, and okay, magnetize, coming back off cooldown as well, I believe, but again, the false promise this time,
Chaos
no
Knight.
extra damage coming through, I can look in front of the target. CK just
BKB TPs in the middle of 4 heroes. He's like, nah, mate, I'm out of here. So there is Aegis on the DP, Cheese on the Lycan. Oh, Earth Spirit. Should be a Void coming out in a second. No? That silence lasts a long old time, doesn't it? Level 4 Geomagnetic Grip, 3.5 second silence.
Yeah, well, good on him to escape. Titan, though, I don't really think he needed to die there, really. I don't really see any scenario where they could have successfully completed that Roche. But, oh well.
He just wanted to have a look.
He did, and then he died for it. Maybe not worth. But down bottom though, okay, Ancient Apparition. Cool guy. Trying to TP out and will actually be successful, he will. Yeah. Death Prophet a little bit too late to pump in that extra bit of damage.
She had Yules. I'm certain she could have got in range to cancel that TP.
Yeah.
Because she came in, then she stopped, and then she moved, then she used Rod of Atos, when she could have just run here and used Yules on the AA. Oh well. Oh well. Miss out on a kill on Q.
Poor guy is lost network on the field anyway. Maybe just mercy. Does have a 4-star though, so 4-star Tranquil Boots. Not the worst thing in the world.
Gotcha.
Of course at level 2 Ice Blasts, closing in on the extra bit of talent as well. Yeah, where's this game going now? I mean, with all the outer tier towers done, that's the easy objectives also off the table for LFY. So if we look at the gold curve, it's kind of stopped a little bit with the back and forth of the team fight still registering, of course. But other than that, it's been hovering around the 7k mark for the longest time.
It's all about the next high ground. Or, well, not the next high ground, but the high ground push. With Roshan gone, Aegis lasting 3 minutes. Plenty of time for LFY just to shove out all of the lanes, kind of methodically make sure that the map is under their control. Unfortunate that it's not natural nighttime, so they will have to rely on the darkness from Night Stalker to give them maybe an upper hand in the next fight. But for sure, they'll try and bait something out, bait a fight from the Radiant again, force them to use their ultis. Maybe you lose a couple of heroes here as the Dire, but if you come back again with, Cheese, with Aegis, and have your ultis ready to go and push high ground while Ravage and Phantasm are down, that is the perfect moment to strike. Potentially, they wait for the next Roshan, honestly. That genuinely might be what they're doing to try and get Roshan and Nighttime cycle synced up. But they've got all their lanes pushed in. They're kind of closing the net around IG, forcing them into a position where they feel desperate enough to make a move, a smoke gank out of their base, some kind of drastic maneuver to get these lanes out with a team fight. You can see the line being drawn, just like, guys, they're trapped in here. We've got Vision in their jungle watching them farm. We've got Vision top lane seeing if anyone's coming out to play around this shrine or farm in these camps. We literally know where all of the Radiant are through process of elimination because no one's farming lanes, no one's moved past our wards, and now we can really sit pretty far forward and catch anyone if they play a little too aggressively.
Well, one good thing for IG though is if you look at the Titan, he actually has an Arcane Rune bottled, so might catch him off guard in case they don't realize that with the Ravage timings and whatnot. But it's just been auto-procced, I believe, so very limited window to use that, and I don't feel like IG can really afford to just go out daringly. Not sure what the smoke situation is either. But again, smoking with no vision is always a little bit tricky as well, especially if you have the Night Stalker on the other side having that extra bit of vision. With his ultimate as well as the gem also on the field, so further restricting what little map control IG could even muster.
It's a very farmed Enchantress. She really is going to start being the real big spooky hero in this game. A lot of the damage from LFY is going to be coming from her.
I mean, Hurricane Pike, Monkey King Well for attack speed, Agnum Scepter for extra range and damage. So it's going to be that impetus machine gun hero. So it's another problem that you have to address in the backlines. That you already have the Oracle that you ideally want to take out if you possibly can. Then can't really ignore the Enchantress either. But if you focus on these heroes, the Death Prophet has plenty of more time to just do damage with the Exorcism. Same for the Lycan, just if he gets to run around with his minions, with his creeps, then he's also going to stack up a lot of damage during these fights, especially with the AC in the middle as well.
Alright, Aegis gone. Come on, IG. Let's go do something. But it just feels like what LFY are wanting here. They want IG to come out and play aggressively, make mistakes. These forced errors as they still hold the cheese on the Lycan with that BKB on both DP and the Lycan as well. Holding the high ground as IG are the ones that have to breach. Night Stalker sprints forward, but he's found by the DK. Jumped immediately and chain stun down. The DP pops her ulti to try and turn around, but with Night Stalker already dead, the Lycan's forced to sprint forward. Ice Blast lands on a couple of them here, but the other sprint down, the Phantasm forward. DP not in trouble really, has the BKB and behind him the Oracle. Without this Ice Blast, damage from the Radiant is pretty limited. Now the DP forced to Yules herself up into the air. The Oracle false promises it's gonna come out. Yes, it is! Barely arrives as the Ravaged Tendrils hit on the far eastern side, but the trouble is Chaos Knight does way too much physical damage for the Death Prophet to withstand. 2 for 2 as IG move out of their base and get a couple of kills. But in the meantime, bottom lane, Tier 3 has fallen to the double catapult push. The Satyr Creeper is here, commanding his troops.
So look back at your objectives and you see, alright, we done goofed anyway, even though we technically did take a good trade. I mean, taking on a DP with all these spells still being used to try and help her out. And only trading your Earthspirit and your Titan to still got the Ravage off. It's not the worst thing in the world, especially also considering that he also used 2 BKBs and didn't straight up win the team fight either. But
Ravage is down. Phantasm is down. There is now potentially a window. I mean, sure, Exorcism is on cooldown, but in the nighttime, this darkness does offer LFY a nice scenario to go and find another team fight.
You got something, but did you get enough? Right? Especially if you're this ultimate-centric. With these kind of lineups, it really comes down to not just the sort of winning team fights, but really winning team fights and actually getting more out of it on the back of that. But as we're seeing right now, Radiant still, or again, forced back towards their own base, really.
They just can't push out across the river, it's too hard. And I've got to say, the Enchantress, level 20 talent, is one of the most ridiculous things.
Radiant's top shrine.
Controlling Ancients with Enchantress at this point in the game. Let's go. Let's go. Dragons.
Radiant's top
Prowlers.
has fallen.
Little Thunderhide lizards. Lycan using Necrobooks to farm and push. But it will be, like I said, just waiting for that next Roshan. Waiting for the kind of day-night cycle to meet up with your next Aegis cheese. Of course, try and get that one situation where you bait your opponent's ultis and still have yours after your secondary or even tertiary lives. You're looking at potentially a second cheese coming out here for the Lycan.
Well, gotta stack up at that Gouda. Then get ready for the feast, essentially, when you pop it a couple of times in that final push that they're slowly but surely gearing up towards. But at the very least for right now, IG do have all the ultimates available. Do they have any sort of extra item progression? I mean, they do have the AC on the Dragon Knight to counteract the one from the Lycan. They're smoking up together again.
They see the DP. There's one ward they have out on the map, sees the Death Prophet. They keep getting de-warded. I swear these Necrobooks are just giving vision to go and de-ward all the time. They're farming, they're pushing, they're de-warding. Lycan has had a pretty spectacular game so far as a smoke from LFY to set things up for themselves. Roshan's alive in 5. Oh god, dude.
Smoke is broken here. They get the extra night vision now. They're gonna go in with the Exorcism. Ravage is still available for when they want to turn around. But so are the BKBs. Lycan popped his to try and catch Bulboka. Ancient Apparition has already fallen to the wrath of the wolf. And it is IG who are retreating very, very fast indeed. Or trying to. Another stun coming through. The Aethos though does connect there onto Chaos Knight. Forced to BKB himself. But still running back towards the high ground. Dragon Knight taking over the front lines. As he turns tail and run quite literally as well. I guess limiting the danger, limiting the damage here with the Exorcism used and everything. Only losing the Ancient Apparition and a couple of BKB charges. Probably the best they could have gotten from that, considering the way it started.
Yeah, holding on to Ravage is great for them. But the trouble is, Dragon Form is about to expire, and Roshan is already well on his way to dying. They need to get inside this pit ASAP. LFY will fall back just a touch. Damage back into Tide. Looks like it's enough to send him back up onto the high ground, and they can go back into the pit if they want to. Wolves will scout and chase forward, cancelling out any initiation that he maybe thought about giving, but now with no BKB, the CK has made a drastic mistake. Moves forward without his team, without the Tide, and without BKB means he's dead for 75, and Roshan is going the way of LFY.
Just buy back. They really want to take this, and they start off with the Oracle. Alright, this is the way that it needs to happen. DP now BKB'd up though. They need CK back and afraid. The Aegis barely being picked up by the Lycan. One cheese eaten, but now the Dragon Knight running away. Gets some covering fire from Titan, but Lycan popped his own BKB in time. Couple of extra right clicks. Spirit Vessel. They do bring down big old tanky Watermelon. The Bork on the side just trying to think of ways that he can actually contribute. Meanwhile, CK finally joins the party, almost getting the kill onto DP, but now with the silence, with the Yules, and that was an Oracle. That was an Enchantress there.
That was an Enchantress, yeah.
Oracle already dead from earlier. Now the cleanup crew is there, actually. Getting these extra couple of kills. Death Prophet, unfortunately for IG, though, still surviving. And now another X isn't available in 10 seconds, and the Shiva's got the dude.
Yeah, DP ult's coming back up. The Lycan ate cheese to create a slot to pick up the Refresher Shard, then realized he needed to pick up Aegis, so he dropped his helm, picked up the Aegis, then picked up the cheese, and he's like, okay, Now I can run away.
Yeah.
Made sure he got all of the items that Roshan dropped. So now you've got a DP with a cheese and a refresher shard potentially. And maybe give that cheese to someone else. But you can see there, IG focusing the Oracle meant that the fight goes pretty well for them. You know, they can start kiting out heroes. They're not too worried about the CK, you know, wasting his Phantasm or his Reality Rift onto targets. He was doing a great job focusing people down. Unfortunate that the DP did escape, as IG looked pretty good in that fight, all things considered. But now, Aeon Disc on Earth Spirit. I was expecting this on one of the Dire Team heroes, you know, the DP, maybe the Night Stalker or someone, but against the CK in particular, but it is the Earth Spirit to pick up one for himself.
It's a bit of a poor man's false promise, isn't it?
Just a little bit, yeah.
Like a really poor man's false promise, because you can't really choose when to pop it. It also sets all your damage to 0. At the very least, you have that strong dispel to get out of a couple of sticky situations. It still is. IG is still in a bit of trouble here, because the only way that the only reason they even got a few kills there in the back of that fight was because Chaos Knight bought back. So his item progression completely stifled. Going for the late Manta style just to try and get a little bit of extra utility. Another way to get rid of the silence with the BKB running low and low on him as well.
But all of these fights are like on a knife's edge, honestly. Like if the Dire win a good team fight outside the Radiant base, that's pretty much tier 3 and racks, if not just, you know, mass buybacks forced. If the Radiant win a good team fight though, that's step 1 to recovering in this game and step 1 to stopping this push power from the Dire actually hitting their base, and it's definitely a possibility if the Chaos Knight can get one of these targets in the backlines. But it really has to be down to Baboka getting in, slipping behind the front lines of LFY, catching the Oracle, getting a silence hero there. Because so far it has been Banana doing that all the time. Diving in, backstabbing very deep, silencing and stunning the AA, so these Ice Blasts are either delayed or just non-existent as they focus him down early in the fight. Because the 5 supports, aggressive-wise from the Radiant, very important. You need that Ice Blast to do damage and secure kills, while on the Dire team, your 5 roll is your saving grace, literally. The False Promise and Glimmer Cape required to keep heroes like DP, Lycan, and now even Enchantress to some extent, as her damage output has significantly increased. She is another target that you can look towards saving. Has the BKB now as 3 big items get picked up across the board. Ags for the AA. You've got the Daedalus on the DK. A lot of damage coming out of him, as well as that Enchantress BKB.
Pretty cool there for the AA to actually find enough money to buy that Agnum Scepter. He's been able to keep himself from dying for the most part of this game. Only 3 deaths on the 5-position support like him. It is actually quite impressive, but it does make a huge difference. Like level 3 Ice Blast with the Scepter, putting that up to 17 seconds rather than 10. It's an eternity, right? Where you're not healing anything, we're continually taking damage. And where you have that shatter percentage at what, 11%? 12%. So that alone is basically taking away a huge chunk of their health points.
False Promise with Ether Lens is super big here for the Oracle. Try and outrange the Ravage from Tide. And again, out on a warding mission. The Great Wall of Wards getting placed down all through this Radiant side of the map. As LFY once again just looking to control things up and herd IG back inside their base.
Radiant's bottom shrine is under attack.
Chaos Knight up to 5,000 health. Very tanky.
Just casual, you know. Casual 5k health points. You also gain status resistance when you drop your armlet, actually.
When
you drop your armlet? What?
When you use your armlets.
Yeah?
Yeah. We should give extra status as well. Yeah.
I mean, what's he at now?
28%.
Not bad. Pretty good.
Probably like 30 or something when he pops the armlet.
Turn it on. Why is it off? You've got a heart. Just keep it on, mate. No need to have it off. Nah, you like to have it off so if you're jumped, you can turn it on and just get that burst of HP back.
Yep.
Especially against percentage-based damage like Spirit Siphon.
32.1% with the armlet.
32.1. Huge. Oh dear. Baboka has been caught. The Eon Disc from Baboka will allow Baboka to roll away. Baboka is out of there. I do love his name so much. But the chase. Ooh, another roll. Ah. Get away from me.
False Promise will still... not False Promise, the... what's it called? Fortune's End. Will still connect, but a little bit too far away. Now the rest of IG.
Without looking, what's the name of the Eon Disc pop?
Oh god, I have no idea.
No idea at all.
No.
Well,
none whatsoever.
You won't find out because he's about to die. Ravage does come through, but it doesn't really do too much. Oracle is the only one to fall. DB's still alive, sprinting through this Radiant lineup. Now hit by the Ice Blast at long last, but the Yule Scepter will be there. The Phantasm not coming just yet as the BKB arrives with CK. Finally gets his ultimate off as the Radiant are running forward, looking for the kill onto Death Prophet. And now the Lycan, they kill both off. The CK's done a ton of damage and the Dragon Knight sprints forward. The hits and crits land and Enchantress taken out, giving a triple kill to the Chaos Knight. And there's the fight they've been waiting for.
Crazy amounts of damage done. 16k in total here for IG. 6.5 towards the CK, but 7.5 on the Dragon Knight, actually. This is absolutely ridiculous here. That Daedalus working overtime, actually, on top of that damage output from the Phantasm Illusion still coming through. And, well, that's the issue when the Oracle is missing. No False Promise means that you have no way to actually protect yourself when that Ice Blast comes out. Ancient Apparition helping to focus down the DP with that. Now all of a sudden they're the ones who are losing the first set of racks. Not just the tier 3, and that is BKB coming through, but Drill to Rift attack as well as the DP. That's a dieback, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a disaster. But this is the problem that we saw. One fight like that from the Radiant, one catch onto the Oracle, one kill to rule them all, and now Dire losing their racks. Lycan pops his ulti, he dewards, great job, get rid of that Observer, chase now onto the Ancient Apparition, and the Abyssal Blade will try and bring down Q, but he's speedy with that Force Staff forward, the Breathe Fire onto the Lycan as well. But bring down the Ancient Apparition at long last. The trouble is they're losing too much in the back lines. Oracle and Night Stalker being focused, Lycan die back, and GG is called. Just like that, the game ends. On a knife's edge indeed.
Oh god. For the longest time, LFY, they were the ones in control, right? And then one team fight is all it takes for IG to just straight up close out. Dota is crazy sometimes in this game.
That's what happens when you have a draft with no catch. Yeah. You've got, push, you've got save, you've got Night Stalker to be really your only catch hero. You've got tons of damage, but very few stuns. You are a one-trick pony. You are really very one-dimensional here as LFY. Just push and push and push and push. And as soon as that pushing chain stops, the combo breaker happens and IG say, cool, it's our turn now. We'll bring down some buildings. But CK and DK just got too big. 11-1-10, 8-3 and 5. Huge performance out from those two core heroes. And combo breaker is the name of the little thing there on the Eon Disc, on the Earth Spirit. Well, that's it for Game 1. Best of 3s, though. We'll see what happens in a couple of minutes. Game 2 coming up in just a little bit.